Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Maria, and I've been at Occupy Seattle since October 1st, 2011. So it's been over about 7 weeks that we've gone into this movement, and so a lot has happened. Don't listen to the news; it's not what they're telling you. Listen to the people that are actually organizing and in the ground. So come show up, please. So last night we had this epic that we had a really intense action in solidarity with Wall Street. Because solidarity is really vital in our movement, we need to remember that this is part of a larger movement, and it's larger than Seattle. So
what happened the day before to Wall Street?
So what happened the day before in Wall Street was that they shut down the camp, or Sushini Park. I think I said that.
Who's they? The police?
No, the police came and shut them down, and they also wouldn't allow the media to enter. So there is no images. There is no images available in terms of, not that I found recently, but so they completely shut down and kicked everybody out. And so what the community did is they came out and supported them. And so in solidarity with the raid that happened in New York, because we've had raids here in Seattle already. We've already gone to 2, and that's why. So because we were in solidarity, we went on this march. And anyways, we got pepper sprayed, and in a horrible way. People weren't yelling at. I mean, the entire march down to Westlake was really calm. Like we were in solidarity. You know, we knew what we had to do, and that, which was shut Wall Street in Seattle. Like that's what we knew we were gonna do. So we marched down, and then when we get in a place where it wasn't really visible, like the part of the street a section of the street that wasn't really visible, the police just pushed us in and pepper sprayed us. And then we continue marching after a lot of our folks were able to be taken care of by the medics. But then we kept marching down, and then the riot police showed up behind us. But we kept marching throughout the time till we ended up shutting down Wall Street, and then we continued marching down Denny, and then we went downtown back to Westlake, and we decided to, as a community, we decided on the spot, because this is how movement building is being done, right? There is no leaders. We decided we move through this. So we get there, and we shut down 4th and Pike, because it's from Pike to Wall Street. I mean, we're
from Pike Street to Wall Street. We will not accept defeat.
Yes, I should remember that much. So now I'm like, So we hold a meeting, and we decide to occupy the space longer in there. And then a lot of people started crowding around us because they're like, well, what's happening, you know? And the police purposely divided a lot of the people watching, which they're part of our movement, right? They're barely waking up. But
how did they separate the witnesses from the protesters?
With their bikes, they kept hitting people and pushing people. Eventually, this entire time, the times that they pepper sprayed, they just sprayed people, would spray in the crowd, and a lot of people on the outside. This is why I say a lot of people woke up, because the way the news media and a lot of people think is that we're violent, that whatever their version of violence is, right?
But because the police are using force against us, that we must have invoked violence?
Mm-hmm.
Because the police are just...
They're tools of the 99s, in my opinion.
But why do people observing assume that if the police are using force against us, then we must have been violent first?
Oh, because that's the way it's being portrayed in the mainstream media. And also there's been media blackouts, like when the police were spraying people. I mean, there was local channels, but majority of other networks weren't there, you know, we know this, the police, they did that to us earlier, just would spray the crowd. And the fact that they did this in front of a lot of people and sprayed a lot of people that, we were moving, you know, they made the announcement, can everybody move? And we're like, okay, or whatever announcement they made telling the crowd to move, right? So people started moving. And so we kept moving, and then, but they were still using their bikes. and they just started pepper spraying us, like just pepper spraying people. And an elder got pepper sprayed, a pregnant woman. Like that's the story that you hear the most, but a lot of other people got pepper sprayed. Like so many people got pepper sprayed. So many people that got pepper sprayed multiple times. Like they say they pepper sprayed the crowd 3 times. No, they did this over and over again. Like somebody told me yesterday.
I got pepper sprayed just for trying to videotape again.
Yeah, I still have pepper spray in my hair. No, that was in your shower. But so they pepper sprayed us. And that was intense because a lot of people on the outside, this is when they're like, whoa, they weren't doing anything. Why are they pepper spraying them, you know? And the crowd kept getting just watching. Like people, like I stood for a second on the outside and people were like, they're doing this? And it's like, they've been doing this, you know, like at least.
Where have you been?
Where have you been, you know? So then we go back to Westlake and we regroup and we see somebody be taken to the ambulance, the pregnant woman, and I'm like, she has a name, I need to remember that. She's not just a pregnant. There's more to her. But so we're there and then blah blah blah, we're there, you know, like just in solidarity with everybody that got pepper sprayed, because we're not going to leave until everybody's ready to leave. So then we decide as a group that we're going to start marching back.
So before we move on to the next section of the video, which I think we'll post separately on the kidnapping attempt by the police against you, can you just maybe give some last words for this first section on what it is you think we got out of or learned from our occupation of that intersection?
I think what we learned in terms of the occupation at that section is that we need to occupy all streets, and we're figuring out the way, and also like the world is watching, like, you know, like the media might have just covered sections of what actually happened, but like the world was watching, and in terms of that meant our community, like people on the outside, like being like, they're just spraying you all like for nothing, you know, and people around Seattle having that conversation, I think it switched the tone of the group, the people like us coming, like, and then later, but it brought a lot of us together at the end of that intersection, knowing that a lot of people have been saying in the past that the police are part of the 99, and to an extent, like, as human beings probably, but in terms of the system, it's a completely different story. But I think a lot of people understood what it meant to be in solidarity and experience this together, that brought us closer together. And at the end, when we regrouped at Westlake, we were asking each other, are you okay? Like, people were like, oh wow, like, I'm finally seeing you at the end of this march, because we've been marching for so long and getting pepper sprayed. We didn't know who had been injured or not. Like, you know, we just kept going and tried to keep everybody together. And like, it's really humbling to be among really extraordinary people, because this is just a small portion of occupied Seattle. There's a lot more components of it, and we're going to see a lot of more of those components this weekend with Rise and Decolonize. Like, we're building a movement.
What's Rise and Decolonize?
Rise and Decolonize is an event that the POC, the People of Color Caucus, and the Hip Hop Occupies are putting together this Friday, and it's like this event just inviting our communities for a day of decolonization and having critical dialogues about the movement we're building with our communities.
So what?
Hip hop and music.
What time are we meeting at Seattle Central Community College to march down to Westlake?
At 3 p.m. 4 p.m.
4:30.
4:30.
4:30. We march.
I know where I need to be at, so I'm like kind of different, but 4 p.m. My mind keeps saying
4:30 p.m. March from Seattle Central down to Westlake for Rise and Decolonize.
I'm just, yeah.
All right. Last thing. What is solidarity to you?
Solidarity is
one sentence.
If that's possible. Solidarity is an extraordinary action. How committed are you to the people around you?